power of suggestion. If you have seen any of our previous episodes, you have probably heard us talk many times about how powerful our belief systems are, the power of belief. But hand in hand with the power of belief has to go the power of suggestion. Why is that? Well, hopefully by the end of this recording, you have a better understanding of why.
Hi, and welcome to Light for Life. If you are returning to our channel, thank you. We value and appreciate you. Our aim is to shine a bright light on your inner splendor and assist to connect you to your magnificence via what we intend to be enlightened sharing, potentially educational and hopefully entertaining information, as well as encouragement for new perspectives. If you are new here, you are most welcome. We do hope that you will find our content highly beneficial and enjoyable. I am Liss. I'm a science of mind practitioner and a teacher of various healing modalities applicable to all aspects of the self and this life.
And I am Lori. I am a holistic wellness researcher and educator. Welcome to Connections with Liss and Lori. We use the space to offer our perspective regarding multiple different topics that we certainly hope you find inspiring. So because our thoughts and beliefs are the foundation, or how they fundamentally shape our experience and our reality, today when we start talking about the power of suggestion, my hope is that you understand how our mental patterns influence our outcomes. And suggestion is more than influence. So I say influence very carefully, but suggestion is more than influence. It's actually a tool that we can harness to put our thought into creative mode and into what it is that we are trying to manifest, what we are trying to see as outcomes in our life. Because at its core, suggestion relies on, I guess, the concept that our subconscious mind is the mechanism for the dominant thoughts that we hold, the dominant beliefs that we hold. So whether or not we're running from our unconscious mind or our subconscious mind or even our conscious mind, the dominant thoughts are passively or actively manifesting in our life. So when we use suggestion in combination with this, with our conscious mind, our subconscious mind, we set into motion the creative process. And eventually, or sometimes not even eventually, sometimes very quickly, we see that outcome in our physical reality. Sometimes this can be in a matter of minutes, but sometimes it's something that we can consistently work on over time to bring about something that we do truly desire, right? So just as an example, so many times I've heard friends say, I've been really looking for, XYZ. If it's a specific type of tool or a specific type of coat that they wanted, or, a car or a printer, or it doesn't really matter what it is, but they've been thinking about this thing. And all of a sudden, a friend of theirs just magically out of the blue has exactly the thing that they've been thinking about. So this is just, one little tiny example of what I mean by the suggestion that we can use creatively to bring something about. And it's not Liss always talks about how science has proven. Well, if we use science to prove this, we could use something like the placebo effect. A lot of people have heard of the placebo effect, but do you really know what that means? Well, the placebo effect literally is suggestion. We are suggesting to you that this thing, whatever it is, I have such a medical background, I immediately think of a drug trial, and they have to have a control group. And a lot of times in that control group, they split them between a placebo pill and an actual medication. And they'll see very similar outcomes even in the placebo group because they suggested to this group that they were receiving this medication. Just by suggestion alone, people can improve their outcomes even without that medication. So I think it really is worthy of talking about this topic because it underscores the principle of belief and the potential that suggestion can hold to profoundly shape our responses, our outcomes.
Absolutely. And I was going to talk about the placebo effect as well, Laurie. If I can just add, what a lot of people might not know about the placebo effect is how it was discovered initially. And that was that during the Second World War, they had so many soldiers injured at once that at one stage, all the makeshift medical facilities had run out of pain medication.
Mm.
And these young men were arriving with horrific wounds, and they had no pain medication for them. And in this one particular tent, there was this little nurse who just had this flash of insight when the doctor was in tears and saying he doesn't know what he's going to do for all these men who are writhing and screaming in agony. He's got no pain medication. And she said, don't tell them that. Fill up all the IV drips with saline water. We're going to tell them that it's pain medication, and let's see what happens. We've got nothing to lose. And so that's what
Wow.
they did.
Wow.
And just the suggestion to these men, bullet-ridden, broken bones, bleeding out.
Wow.
She literally went from bed to bed, plugging in a saline drip and telling those soldiers, don't worry, the pain is going to be gone really, really soon. And you're going to sleep soundly.
Wow.
And they all did.
Wow.
They all did. 100% of them. Through nothing more than the power of suggestion.
Wow.
And so, considering that it's powerful enough to take away the pain of broken bones, we need to become really, really cognizant of how we use it.
Wow.
Because can it be a wonderful force for good?
Yeah.
Absolutely. But how often don't we use it negatively? Ooh, put on a jersey or you're going to get sick.
Yeah.
That's a pretty powerful suggestion.
It is. It is.
Or let's go for a tarot reading and the channeler says, tower moment coming. Someone's going to break your heart.
Yep. Yeah.
A lot of psychics are well-intentioned. So are most channelers and readers. But if we are coming to it vulnerable, or we are coming to it with a space of fear, once that little seed is planted, how much are we going to water it?
Yes. Yeah.
And so, was the reader really psychic? Or did I just use the power of suggestion to create that reality for myself?
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, like you said,
So
suggestion
yes,
is used in everything. You know, like you brought up some areas that I never even thought about, but the ones that I thought about in society are advertising, marketing, media. It's everywhere. The power of suggestion is no joke. And
yeah.
we have to be really aware and in tune of what is being suggested.
and then to use that power for ourselves.
Yes.
What is an affirmation other
Yeah.
than a really powerful positive suggestion?
Right.
So whatever my circumstances may be, why don't I offer myself some suggestions that are more in line with what I actually choose? And then allow myself to water the seeds of those suggestions until they do become my dominant thought. My dominant thoughts become my beliefs become my reality. It's
Mhm.
literally that simple.
Yeah.
Literally. We just tend to be better at it, in inverted commas, in the negative,
Yeah.
than we are in terms of actually being connected to that which we do desire.
Yeah. I agree. And using the discretion and discernment to decide between what seeds we want to water and what weeds we need to pluck.
Exactly. Exactly. It's like when somebody gives you a wonderful compliment and it goes straight to your heart and you feel so warm and fuzzy and you feel so great. Don't you repeat that to yourself in your own mind? Oh, so and so said I look so pretty today. Or so and so said they really, really like how I look in this blouse, or whatever it might be. We re-suggest that to ourselves
We do.
1,000 times because it feels so good.
It's so true.
And why did it take the external voice? Why can't I give myself that loving, warm, and fuzzy feeling? Why can't I give myself the powerful suggestion of how pretty I look today, or how lovely I look in this blouse? And repeat that to myself 1,000 times.
Great questions.
That's self-love in a really practical way. Why would I value someone else's voice, someone else's opinion, more than my own?
Well, isn't that one of the powers of suggestion? We have been programmed and conditioned to seek that external voice and to seek that external validation and to ignore ourself and to ignore our voice. And literally everything we need is outside of us. That is a very powerful demonstration of how suggestion is used, maybe in not such a healthy way in our world. And that's where I was saying before, is that we have to be really aware of the subtle influences in our life, and all of these external suggestions. We really got to open the eyes a bit, and all the lights have to come on. And this is where we really need to become aware of these influences that are around us. We really need to have our eyes wide open and our ears wide open to all of this external suggestion, and again, discretion and discernment with what is real and what is true. And I'm going to go even just a step further and encourage that we don't focus so much on the external, and we really bring that power back to the self in order to harness our own power of suggestion. There's nothing wrong with using a compliment to catapult us into something great. But if we're constantly getting oxygen from those compliments, maybe it's time to just own the fact that we do look really nice in that shirt, and just own it, and trust that we do look really nice in that. Or we did have some really great personal insight on that interview that you shared, or whatever the situation may be. We did do a really good job at work because we worked hard at doing that good job. And I think especially in this society, in this TikTok world, in this instant gratification environment that we live in, our validation is so external. Like, reel it in a little bit. Reel it in a little bit. and go ahead and decide for yourself, what suggestions do you want to use to launch yourself into something great, into something, a more healed version of yourself, a self that has more integrity that you want to demonstrate, that you want to see in your life. And the end result of that is so much more personal freedom and autonomy than you will ever imagine.
Yeah. Like, what does your heart suggest? What does your inner child have to say? What does your higher self think? And as beautiful of a blessing as compliments can sometimes be from other people, I can give a personal example, if I may, of something that I was always, my whole life, profoundly self-conscious about. And that is that I'm really fluffy. I have a lot of all over my body, really fine hair. I'm really fluffy. And I was always very, very self-conscious about that. And one day I mentioned it to a friend, and she gave me a perspective on that I'd honestly never had. Where she said, but yes, because you have a peaches and cream complexion. So just like peaches are fluffy, so am I. And it completely changed my orientation around something that I'd always despised about myself and been so self-aware of. So never underestimate the value of an external loving voice in terms of what it can set you free from, especially if you've held a really wrong and false perspective about something. But the thing is, our hearts always have the perspective of love. Our hearts always know the highest truth. And that is what we can and should be suggesting to ourselves.
It's interesting that we have something in common again. My mother used to call me her peach baby. And immediately I go to a lot of the other nicknames and, some of the bullying and some of the other suggestions that I've had in my life that have offered, even if it's uncomfortable, it has offered me opportunity to redirect, to refocus, to recalibrate where it is I am going to focus. Am I going to focus on the not so nice things that people have said to me? Or am I just going to let all of the external blah, blah, blah just go ahead and fall away and really cultivate what I do want? So I think, I just keep going back to, awareness and discretion and discernment and being really clear on what is being suggested, especially in the media, especially in marketing, especially in advertising. You don't need all of that to tell you the truth. You already know the truth. You just have to be willing to be quiet for just a few moments and hear what you already know.
Yeah. My suggestion is love. Let's leave that with our audience for today. I suggest that you love. Love everything. Love always.
Thank you for connecting with Light for Life. If you appreciate reminders, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel so you can receive those notifications. If you would like to work with one of us, you can find our contact information in the About section of this channel.
Yes, thank you for connecting with Light for Life. Please share your insights, your questions, and your comments with us in the comment section below. We value your feedback. And we really hope that we will see you for our next episode. We upload one every Thursday. Until then, bye-bye and be joyful.
Until we connect again, we send you love and light.